keep in mind. So I mentioned before that this new generation of AI actually makes certain things easier, which presents a challenge for existing organizations that like have a dedicated AI group. This is something I've encountered where it's actually, if you don't have like a dedicated IT or engineering team, right? SMB, or it's just, you're not a tech company or whatever, like it's very easy to integrate the technology because it's all service-based. Like AI, it's like electricity again, it's like a utility. So you're sort of renting the service, and you pay for consumption from the labs or the cloud providers. Now, a lot of the prevailing wisdom or sort of thought up until this moment was that there were going to be lots of expert models that were like very narrow. And so you had a lot of companies investing huge amounts of money into building sort of like fully vertically integrated AI teams where they're gathering the data, labeling it, training the models, managing like the overhead and all that kind of stuff. And what's turned out to be the case is like most of the time, like having one model, sort of one giant model, is just going to be better. And so if you have this whole team that was built around that previous assumption, it can be very hard to make the case that, oh, we need to switch to this paradigm where we're not going to be really using your stuff quite in the same way. So that's something I think to be really cognizant of. This is a change management challenge. But then there's, like I said, the tension between the security and the need for digitization. And practically, I think the best way to deal with that is like focus on internal operations, not customer facing stuff. Prototype or build against data that is not like, mission critical. And for use cases where you don't need multiple nines of reliability. Like if 20% of what it produces is like kind of messed up, but you have human oversight or it's sort of good enough, that's good, right? It may be better than 80%, but that's just, I think, something to consider. And the other thing, I think this is really important, and it's a pretty big mindset shift, is like your initial implementations. I'm not saying like enterprise-wide sort of implementations. I'm talking about that kind of initial 0 to 1. You don't need to hire some consultancy and pay them obscene gobs of money to like do the discovery process that takes 3 months and all this kind of stuff. Like, especially because of the tools, you can do discovery quicker. There's all these things that you can do. You can build prototypes a lot faster using AI for coding. I think if you're an enterprise buyer, you should really raise the bar on your expectations. Cost, quality, maybe comparable to the old way of doing things, but especially when it comes to time to capability. Like you should be able to know if there's a there way faster than you would have in previous enterprise IT digital transformation cycles. So I think having that as an expectation, you can do it through setting ambitious goals and extreme constraints. I've sort of talked about this before. I think is just something good to be open to, that you really don't have to wait. You can find out almost immediately if there's a there.
Fascinating. So just to sum it up, low risk, low hanging fruit, prototype, tap into the big brain, use electricity, and have the discovery, and get 50% time back, and get things done 10 times faster. Make sure you reach out to Christian, the AI strategist, and here is his website, and he's very active on LinkedIn, and then that's how we got connected. Thank you so much, Christian, for your time today. This is fascinating. I'm sure we want to have you back, and we'll have more in-depth conversations about particular use cases.